Well, is that Royal Albert Hall in the back of both of you visually?
We're at the opera.
We're at the opera.
I mean, Wu-Tang
Spend all
Clan,
our
many
time.
concerts at the Royal, there you go. But congratulations on a wonderful season of the show that was completed. I learned from speaking with Kosar that it was filming wrapped back in November, but when did this actually get locked in, this current season?
Locked in what sense? I'm sorry.
Locked in meaning the music cues were no longer temped, everything was edited, and you can go, we're done. I can breathe aside from
only recently. Only recently. So how many episodes have you seen?
First 4.
Okay, so they are pretty much hot off the press. So there are 8 episodes, and I think we delivered the 8th episode, I don't know, about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Wow, okay. How long was the journey from coming up with the show and going, we got to do this, to actually selling it to STARZ?
I actually don't know what the time frame. I don't actually want to embarrass ourselves by saying how long it was.
Let's say that we know each other very well, and we've worked very long and hard on this, and we never stopped feeling passionate about it. And again, the brilliance of having someone like Colin as your champion means you never lose the faith in what you're doing. It's wonderful.
I mean, the starting point was, what is it about Dangerous Liaison that persists? That 300 years after it's written, it's still part of a sort of cultural discourse. Why does it? What is it about the book? And that was the question that Harriet and I sort of discussed, and we looked at the fact that it's this sort of dysfunctional love story, the fact that it's a story about a woman navigating a man's world, all those things which are every bit as relevant today as they were back in the latter part of the 18th century in Paris. But then Harriet ran with it and sort of found this jewel in the middle of the book that actually opened the door to how we should tell the story.
Yeah, because when Colin asked me to look at it, I thought, if Colin sees something in this, with everything that he has done in this industry, there must be something really, that I can find that's unexplored, because I would need to do that. It's been done brilliantly in other ways. And there was letter 81, which is a really incredible letter from the Marquise de Merteuil, which is very much like a mission statement. It talks of a woman who has created herself. She is a construct, and in a way it enables her to survive and manage the world of the Ancien Regime, the kind of extraordinary divided society we find ourselves in Paris at that time. But it doesn't feel like a woman who is naturally of that world. She's never named in the book. It's only ever her title. And I thought maybe that is our way, in a way, the landscape of who she was, why she is driven to invent herself, what has happened to her, and how do we get her to that point of both her and Valmont, the iconic characters of the novel, of where they exist in the novel, that amorality and corruption. I said that to Colin, well, maybe it's a prelude, and we were both very excited that was the way into the show.
Sure. It was filmed in Prague.
Yes.
Did you know all along that you wanted to film there? Because we are seeing more and more great film and television projects filming out there, almost like a secret that, hey, you've got this beautiful city with old architecture, which can get all the technology you need, but at a fraction of the price.
Well, the Paris of the show, the Paris of the series doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And so we could, there's no way to shoot it in Paris because the sort of Byzantine sort of streets and so on aren't there. So Prague has them, and so it was wonderful to discover old Paris in Prague.
Now, changing up the pace here, Colin, what project of Harriet's made you go, this is the person that I want to work with on this show?
Well, it's what actually happened was that when I met Harriet, I suddenly discovered that she knew this world. She knew the book. She was familiar with the book and the world of the book like no one else I'd ever spoken to, and was fascinated by it. And whenever you're speaking to a writer and looking for a writer, you want to find somebody that has a sort of an emotional connection to the story.
Right.
And that has a passion for it. And Harriet's passion and connection was very visceral. I mean, we can ask Harriet exactly what it was and why it was so had so much impact on her. But it was stunning. And you know what we wanted to do was create a period drama that wasn't a stuffy sort of historical piece, but that was actually, you know, created an accurate creation of the world, but did it in a way and told a story in a way that was additive, as Harriet said, fresh, surprising, and relevant to a modern audience. And if you look at her work and her writing, you know, all of that, all of her writing did that. So the combination of her passion for the world in the book, along with, you know, the writing, her own writing, it just seemed a natural. And my God, we were right.
The last question before I let you go. Both of you have impressive credits for decades, but looking at your old credits, Colin, television Scrabble speaks to me as a person who grew up on game shows. What made you know not to go in game shows or continue in game shows after that? Was it just a weird experience?
I'll tell you why.
Waited.
So we created this game, the Scrabble, with a computer where actually you didn't play the computer, but the contestants used a computer to play. And we worked through I worked on it for months and worked through the night, and the head of entertainment of one of the networks in England came to the show, came to the presentation on the Friday morning at 9. We hadn't had any sleep. We worked through it. And as we sit there, he said, I just need to tell you, I'm dyslexic. And at that point, I thought, okay, this is not a world I can deal with. I mean, a dyslexic executive coming to look at a series called Scrabble. The show went on for 4 seasons, but that was not my métier.
That's brilliant.
Thank you for answering and entertaining that question. Congratulations on this wonderful season. Hope there's more to come.
Paltrocast.